Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another jewelry making video at my YouTube channel and my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're going to be using a focal pendant along with some silk and linen cords and a fun assortment of beads to make this necklace. So the first thing I did when deciding to make this necklace was found a pendant that I thought would be good. You can take a look at your local craft store. There's all sorts of things available. Perhaps dig one out that's been in your stash for a while. And then the next thing I did was choose some cords. I've had this assortment of silk cords hanging around for a while in several different colors. I decided I was going to go with a green and purple and silver mix. So you'll need about a 40-inch piece of each of your cords. I have one piece of the green cord and 2 pieces of waxed linen twine. And then I just went into my bead stash and pulled out a bunch of green and purple beads that had holes large enough for the cords to go through, and also some silver spacers. Now it depends on the type of pendant you choose, how it's strung, just how you approach stringing everything onto the cord. My little flower pendant here already had 2 holes punched in these 2 petals, otherwise I might have chosen to orient it differently, but I can work with this. I'd wanted to use this one. This is a Hill Tribe silver pendant, but it was a little bit small for what I had in mind. But it has this type of bail, and so the design would have to be a little different. So it just enables you to get kind of creative with your designing. What I ended up doing was I took my 3 cords, and in the center I made knots 4 inches apart. And I'm actually going to make one more knot over each of those. Just ignore the beads that are on there. I got one side done ahead of time. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. Because I wanted to arrange this so that I would have something dangling down from the pendant, from beneath the pendant. So now these sets of cords get strung through the jump rings, and those knots stop it from slipping through. And then I have plans for the rest of this cord to hang down here, and then I can hang a dangle from it. And then all I've done on each side, I will string on an assortment of my beads and spacers, tying knots, and depending on the size of the holes in your beads, you might have to do double or triple knots. And a great tool for holding your knots right where you want them is an awl. You can tuck it into the knot and guide your knots exactly where you want them to go. So I just made 5 clusters of my beads. And then I'm going to just put a weight on this end, my bench block will do, and loosely braid these. So just right over center, left over center, right, left, right, left. And then once you get to the end of the beads, you can continue braiding, but just do it a little bit more tightly. And then once you've braided to the end, just gather all 3 of those cords together and tie them into an overhand knot. And then you can use the remaining cord to tie on a piece of a clasp. And then repeat on the other side. And like I said, you have to get a little bit creative with doing the dangle on this one. It depends on how your pendant is set up for a bail. What I'm going to do is fold this section in half, and then I've got about an 8-inch piece of 26 gauge wire, and I'm just going to wrap it nice and tight around there. And I don't think I even need that much wire. Wrap it around, trim off the excess, make sure you tuck in those wire ends so they don't scratch anybody. And then for my dangle, I've got this little spiral head pin that I made. If you want to learn how to make it, you can click on the link to go to the Friday Findings video where I show you how to make several fun handmade head pins. And I'm just going to put on a few beads and spacers. I'm going to make my loop a little bigger here since I have to go over all of those cords. Another dangle's on there. I got a little bit of a dangle. And you just add beads to the other side, braid it, tie on the other half of your clasp, and you're done. So if you're interested in the supplies I used in this project, there's a link in the upper right to go to my accompanying blog post. You can also share your ideas for future projects in the comments, and I'll see if I can make you a video. If you're new here and haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do for 3 new video tutorials every week. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And here's another look at the project we made. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share, and leave me a comment. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog. Happy creating. Bye-bye.